Hello there. Hi, I'm making this video lecture to complement the slides that I provided for week 3 on the topic of individuals in the organization and motivation. I will have a separate video lecture on motivations so that it wouldn't be so long. I hope this will help you in your own self-study as classes were suspended last week and as we go online when I need to be out of town. Anyways, this will provide you with further explanations on the references provided for the weeks. And I hope if you have any questions, please do feel free to email me or write down in our support forum in our online class. Okay, so for this topic on individuals in the organization, we'll talk about individual behaviors. And here in these slides, we will be mostly talking about reinforcements, and that will be later on in the middle to the end slides. Okay, let's start. Foundations of individual behavior. This is from Prentice Hall, again based on our textbook. So this is a complement ready made by Prentice Hall. Foundations of individual behavior. Okay, so there is ability, intellect, and intelligence that forms a person's behavior. So when you say ability, it's the individual's capacity to perform the various tasks in a job. So that's very self-explanatory. Our capacity to perform various tasks in a job. There is what we call intellectual ability. In professional work, mostly we need to use our brain. We need to think, we need to troubleshoot, we need to solve a problem, we need to create, we need to brainstorm. So it's a mental ability that we use in professional jobs. Of course, there are also manual labor. There are clerical jobs that may need everybody to think, but the job requires more of their physical labor. Okay, so intellectual ability simply means the capacity to do mental activities. And there are now different types of intelligences. As you may very well know, there are multiple intelligences that covers different areas. So there is cognitive, social, how we deal with other people, emotional, our feelings, how we deal with our feelings, how we handle our emotions, and of course, cultural, our context, our background. Dimensions of intellectual ability. Let's focus on intellectual ability. So there is number aptitude. So what do you mean when we say number aptitude? It is the quickness of our brains to compute, to divide, to subtract, to add, to multiply. So maybe this is high in jobs for accountants, those in statistics maybe, those who work with numbers. Verbal comprehension is both for reading and for talking. So you need to be good in understanding language, in understanding words, in following instructions, written instructions, and even verbal instructions. So you need to have this verbal comprehension, intelligence, ability. Perceptual speed, how you see things, how you will look at things when you see something. So it is basically how you perceive things based on what you see. So it is the ability to identify visual similarities and differences quickly and accurately. Okay? Inductive reasoning. So inductive reasoning is from the detail to the general. Okay? So you look at the reasoning from the small thing to going up to the general reasoning. So that's the logic of inductive reasoning. While deductive reasoning is from the general, you move down to the specific. Okay? Spatial visualization is looking at space. How you may be, how accurate maybe when you estimate distance or area of a room, how you would put things or furnitures, equipments in one place. So spatial visualization is very good for interior designers, for architects, for engineers. And of course, memory. There are people with very sharp memory who can put in a lot of data in their brains and can recall them in an instant. They have a big memory bank, so they are able to memorize. But memory is not really true learning. It's part of your ability, intellectual ability, but it's not really, that doesn't mean that you are learning if you memorize something. Okay, next, physical abilities. Of course, the capacity to do tasks demanding stamina, dexterity, strength, and similar characteristics. Of course, we all know physical abilities, how good we are physically. There are 9 physical abilities: strength factors, flexibility factors, and other factors. So when you say strength, that is our power. So dynamic strength means how long we are, how powerful we are while doing work, moving. It's our ability to exert muscular force repeatedly or continuously over time. So that's dynamic strength. Trunk strength is basically the middle part of our body, how we get power from our abdomen, our stomach. They say that uh, people usually draw strength from their gut, from the middle part of their body. Static strength is our strength while sitting or standing, while not doing anything. So it is the force that we exert while we are in a static mode. Explosive strength, for example, when we punch, we exert one big effort towards something, so that's our explosive strength. Then we have the flexibility factors, how flexible we are. How far can we extend our arms, our legs, our head, our body? Dynamic flexibility is how far we can do this while moving. So like throwing a punch, Manny Pacquiao punching in a fast speed rate. So that's dynamic flexibility. Other factors, of course, include body coordination, how we coordinate our left and right hand. Maybe if we're very good in piano, so we are able to make sounds differently, but they harmonize. Balance, how we balance ourselves, moving and crossing the bridge, a hanging bridge maybe, going up the stairs, how we balance ourselves, standing in one foot, etc. And stamina is the strength that we have um, in over time, how we are able to keep up, like running, that's stamina, how we are able to preserve, extend our power. Okay, so these are the 9 physical abilities, which are usually needed in work that require physical strength or manual labor. Okay, so now there is a need to look into the fit of our abilities and the requirements of a job, the ability requirement of a job. So here we see the employee's ability vis-a-vis the job's ability requirements. Now that's the ability job fit. Okay, they match. Biological characteristics. This comprises the surface level characteristics of individuals. The first one that we mentioned on the first few slides referred to the deeper level, the deep level of diversity or characteristics of individuals, while the biological characteristics refer to the surface level. So biological characteristics are usually those that are obtained from the records or simply by asking individuals. So these are age, gender, race, and tenure that are objective and easily obtained from personal records. Okay, learning. Learning is very important in behavior modification, in acquiring behavior. So here it says any relatively permanent change in behavior that occurs as a result of experience. So learning, so experience is very important in learning. Okay, so it's not just listening to the teacher, it's not just memorizing, but it's actually experiencing it. It's actually doing it. It's actually demonstrating it, that we learn, that we really learn. So learning involves change, definitely, because once we acquire new knowledge and new ideas, we think differently, we act differently based on that knowledge. It's relatively permanent, so it's not fixed, it's not absolutely permanent, but relatively permanent, because sometimes we also can unlearn things. okay? And is acquired through experience. We have theories of learning. We have classical conditioning, a type of conditioning in which an individual responds to some stimulus that would not ordinarily produce such a response. So the key concepts here is unconditioned stimulus, unconditioned response, conditioned stimulus, and conditioned response. So when we say unconditioned stimulus, this is something that we react because it's a natural thing that's happening. For example, if we smell our favorite food, we instantly naturally react like we get hungry or we salivate because that's our favorite food that we smell. So that's a natural stimulus, the smell of our favorite food. Unconditioned response is our natural reaction of salivating or getting hungry because we smelled our favorite food. Conditioned stimulus. Okay, conditioned stimulus is not directly related to our response. So, for example, from the experiment of Ivan Pavlov, the one who discovered classical conditioning, that he used the bell, a ringing of the bell, and connected it with the food for the dog. So he experimented with the dog that whenever he rings the bell, there is the food that comes with the ringing of the bell. So now the dog um, connects the ringing of the bell to the food. So whenever, of course, he thinks of the food, the dog salivates because he wants to eat. There's the stimulus, the food that makes him salivate. But he now reacts to the ringing of the bell, which naturally doesn't really makes the dog salivate. So that's the conditioned stimulus now, the ringing of the bell. And the conditioned response to the ringing of the bell is the salivating, which does not naturally occur. Okay, let's move on. So this is, I don't know if this is true, but maybe the Freud's cat was the food. Second theory of learning is the operant conditioning. So operant conditioning is a type of conditioning in which desired voluntary behavior leads to reward or prevents a punishment. So this is a behavior modification um, that leads to a consequence. So it's either you are rewarded or you're punished. Okay? So we have key concepts here. Reflexive behavior, this is something natural. Conditioned behavior, this is something that is conditioned. So it doesn't come out naturally, but conditioned over a period of time. And reinforcement. So reinforcement here is our main focus. So other theories of learning, social learning theory, just read through this, shaping behavior, and here, the types of reinforcement. So we have positive reinforcement, reward, negative reinforcement, taking out unpleasant consequences so that the behavior continues. Punishment is, of course, to take out the undesirable condition to eliminate an undesirable behavior. And extinction is withholding of reinforcement of a behavior to cause its cessation so that the behavior will stop. So remove the reinforcement. Okay, so there are different schedules of reinforcement. Continuous, tuloy-tuloy. Intermittent, it is erratic. It is intermittent. You can give it today or tomorrow or whatnot. So it's not continuous. Fixed interval. So there's interval, fix, every 2 days, every 3 days. Variable interval is every 2 days, every 5 days, every 6 days, once a week. That so it's not fixed. So here we have the effects on behavior of the schedules of reinforcement, and here are example graphs of those schedules. Okay, so just look into this. We will discuss more of this next week. I only have 15 minutes for this video. If you have any more questions, please do ask. We have some activities for last week, and we will meet on Friday. Okay, thank you, and I hope we will be able to move on with our topics and the discussions and the discussion forum in the online class. Okay, so I'll see you guys. If you have any more questions, email online class. Bye-bye.